This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Coming up this half hour on Sunrise, a deadly start to the new year as investigators look into the first deadly crash in Portland here in 2023. We'll explain more on where it happened and how it happened, and how authorities are trying to reverse this deadly trend in the city.
And later, New Year's resolutions. What are some of the top resolutions people are looking to tackle this year? And we hear from you on what goals you're looking to accomplish this new year.
I think for about 1 million years running now, the top resolution is to get into better shape. And that is what we see some people trying to do this morning out there at the 24-hour fitness on Southeast McLaughlin.
Getting after it.
In Southeast Portland. Oh, yes, look at that. My goodness.
That poor person.
I mean, honestly, I'm not at the gym enough to know even what that exercise is
That is
called.
some serious core work you got going there, though.
It appears as though we have some early morning thrusting happening here. Sunrise show. Maybe a leg workout. Maybe that'd be a better way to describe it here at 5 o'clock in the morning. Eric Patterson is out there at the 24-hour fitness for us, so we're going to have more from Eric coming up a little bit later. Blair Best in this morning for both Christine and Brenda. So you're doing the work of two.
Yes, the work of two. Feels good to be back, though. It's
Welcome
nice.
back.
Thanks.
Welcome back to 2023. Chris McGinnis.
Oh my goodness, you just said 2023.
Yes, we started yesterday. We continue today.
Okay.
What's the weather look like?
Day number 2 looks a little breezy, a little crisp out there this morning as well, and frosty in some cases. It's dark. It's early. We're a little less than 3 hours away from sunrise right now. The breeze out of the airport, 14 miles an hour and picking up. It's 39 degrees at PDX. We've had some fog across the region this morning. That will continue to lift here as cloud cover moves in. And I point this out because we've got some rain offshore. Eventually, we think some of that rain may try to work its way into the Willamette Valley, but it's going to be fighting the east breeze, and that east breeze, of course, has a drying effect usually on systems like this. So clouds increasing, temperature's not going very far this morning. I do have a slight chance of showers this afternoon, guys, and we get up to about 40, maybe 41 later today. Back to you.
All right, Chris, thank you. Well, 2023 is off to a deadly start in the Rose City, with Portland police responding to the first fatal crash of the year early yesterday morning in Southeast. Now, there's concern that this year could be as deadly as the last two, which both surpassed 65 deaths. I spoke to one neighbor who heard the crash that morning.
This small, dead-end neighborhood off Southeast Division Street, the scene of Portland's latest deadly car crash.
People love to just come flying into the neighborhood or flying out of the neighborhood.
Don Reynolds has lived on Southeast 125th for 10 years. He was hitting the road early to go snowboarding when he heard the crash around 2:30 Sunday morning.
I thought it was nothing but fireworks and stuff like that, and then as I left, there was still flares on the road.
Portland police say someone driving a stolen sedan crashed into multiple parked cars and died. The damaged cars still line the streets Sunday afternoon.
People would assume, like, something on I-84 or something on I-5, but when you say it's a dead-end neighborhood and that there was a fatal crash, that hurts a lot.
This comes on the heels of last year's fatal crashes, where more than 65 people died in Portland. Police now calling this an epidemic. According to Oregon's official crash record, there are typically between 10,000 and 12,000 reported crashes in the city each year.
Speed continues to be one of the key factors in those fatalities and serious injuries.
Hannah Schaefer at the Portland Bureau of Transportation argues a new state law could help stop this deadly trend. The law, now in effect, allows city and county officials to designate speed limits, as opposed to traffic engineers and Oregon's Department of Transportation.
There is still a lot of work for us to do at PBOT to make our streets safer, but we need partners in this.
Oregon's 241 cities, along with Multnomah and Clackamas counties, can now begin applying for the authority to designate speed limits in their respective jurisdictions. ODOT will continue to manage speed limits on state roads.
Having local authority over speeds is really, really crucial when we're trying to lower speeds and create safer conditions around the city.
Those safer conditions, what people like Dawn are longing for as they head into the new year.
I would hope that Portland would just really take that step on becoming what it used to be.
Changing speed limits only goes so far. Portland police are now calling on the community to help make the streets safer by being vigilant and following the rules of the road.
All right, let's take a look now at a few more headlines that we're following for you on this Monday morning. We start with this. A man shot multiple times on the east side of Portland. Portland police say this happened just before 8:30 last night at a gas station parking lot on East Burnside near Northeast 120th. The victim has been taken to the hospital. He is expected to be okay. The suspect has still not been found. Meanwhile, a fire started by fireworks forced residents out of a Hillsborough apartment complex on Saturday night. Hillsborough police and fire crews got to the scene at around 8 o'clock. Authorities say the fire was extinguished quickly. There were no injuries and there was only minor damage to that building. And we now know more about the victim of a fatal pedestrian crash in Beaverton that happened early Friday evening. Police say a pickup truck crashed into a 92-year-old woman. Investigators say they are still looking into how exactly this crash happened, although they do say the driver stayed on the scene and is cooperating with this investigation. The accident happened near the Highland Hills Shopping Center on Southwest Allen Boulevard. Police have not identified the driver of the truck, only saying that she is a woman in her 20s. And that is an early look at today's Monday morning headlines.
Well, NBC is bringing back America's Got Talent for a winter run, and it's starting tonight.
Brand new edition called the AGT All-Stars. This one promises to be even more global than ever before. NBC's Mark Barger brings us a preview.
America certainly does have talent. It turns out most of the rest of the planet has talent too.
I'm going to tell you right now, it is the world's Got Talent.
AGT All-Stars has pulled together past winners and fan favorites from the U.S. edition of the show.
I was very surprised about how emotional I got because, I've only been hosting this thing for about 4 years.
Those American acts are competing against performers from some of the more than 70 countries with their own editions of Got Talent.
I feel like here is the melting pot, everyone coming together, again, showing their act, and it's been the most incredible experience.
Even if it didn't necessarily start that way.
The first day I thought was terrible, so I thought we'd made a huge mistake, and then the following days, thank God, got better and better and better.
Although there was the question of how well some of the international acts would translate stateside.
I've got to admit, there were certain acts that just didn't work here, and other acts in reverse, I think, did better in America than they did on the British show.
Then again, not all of the acts were impressed by all of the judges.
Here in America, I am very special.
He's famous.
I'm really, really important.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, gotta go.
The winner will make an even bigger impression.
It really is the best of the best. If you love Got Talent, I feel like you love All-Stars even more.
Mark Barger, NBC News.
A young man in that piece of video did not seem impressed with Howie Mandel. So real quickly, before we get to your forecast, there is a local hopeful in this AGT All-Stars competition. Jimmy Harrod, who you may remember, Chris, competed about a year and a half ago on AGT. Wonderful singer. Part of Pink Martini. So Jimmy is on the show, and we have an interview that we're going to air for you with Jimmy coming up at 5:45. So we're rooting for the local guy in the All-Star competition.
Absolutely, go get him. All right, let's get you out the door right now. We are off to a clear start. Well, let me rephrase that. It looks clear. It is not clear. It's let me rewind. Can I hit rewind? We actually have cloud cover moving in. What I wanted to say is that the fog that we had overnight and early this morning is clearing. We had dense fog early, but that's already starting to lift. And you can tell that from our Wells Fargo sky camera. The breeze picking up, cloud cover moving in aloft right now. 39 at PDX. It's 32 in Hillsborough, 31 Sherwood, Happy Valley at 33. There are some frosty pockets out there. So if you are one of the poor souls like us that have to get up early and go to work this morning when everybody else is holidaying it out for another day, you're going to need to defrost your car for sure. Speaking of frost, it's cold in Eastern Oregon right now, 2 in Burns, 19 in Baker City, Pendleton checking in with 30. All right, as I mentioned, cloud cover moved in. 1 or 2 sprinkles even starting to show up along the central Oregon coast. This weather system is it's shearing apart. It's breaking apart and stretching out here as it works its way towards the coast. So it's losing its punch. That said, it does have some rain with it, and that rain will be coming ashore here a little bit later on this morning. Now, for the metro area, and as we get into the Willamette Valley, the thing that rain's going to have to contend with is an increasing east wind through the gorge. And of course, that's going to make it feel chilly. It's also obviously quite dry east of the Cascades. So the rainfall coming in is going to have to compete with the drying influence of that gorge east wind. And so it's going to be tough sledding to actually get measurable rain here in Portland this afternoon. But Futurecast shows that system coming ashore. Here we are at 4 o'clock. Maybe some snow in the higher terrain of the Coast Range. Maybe a wet snowflake actually mixed in with the raindrops here in Portland. No problems anticipated with that. But in any event, you can see Futurecast does show some of those showers trying to work their way in later today. So all that's to say is slight chance of rain here in Portland. Better chance at the coast today with highs in the mid-40s. Through the Columbia River Gorge, it's going to be a really breezy day today. West or east winds, I should say, gusting to near 50 for like Cascade Locks and Troutdale. Central Oregon starts off with some sunshine. You'll see increasing clouds, though, throughout the day and up and down the I-5 corridor. Most of us not going very far in the temperature department, kind of hanging out right around 40 degrees or so this afternoon. Guys, the week ahead it's not as wet as it looked a couple of days ago, but I do have at least the chance of some showers in our forecast most days. The wettest days this week at this point look like Wednesday and Thursday. Back to you.
All right, Chris, thank you. Well, coming up, we remember the ones we lost here and across the world in 2022. That's after the break. Stay with us.